because each of us are just putting our efforts into pushing this heavy, you know, load of tourism that is going
Mhm.
forward very sluggishly these days. And there's nothing else we can do. But everybody could just put a little bit push on it, and there's nothing else we can do.
Sorry. Hey, hope you guys are doing well. We're gonna do another chat with a fellow friend, Rahman. He is a person from Iran. He is a member of tourism as well. And I want to talk to him to see his perspectives on tourism in the region for 2021, 2022, and also to get a little bit to know about him. So it's a pleasure to have him. And I appreciate your time. I appreciate your time, man.
Uh,
Okay.
Thank you. Pleasure is all mine. Thank you very much.
Thank you, man. So just want to make it simple. I want to start from the beginning, you know. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what are you doing currently?
Sure. All right. Well, in the beginning, concerning my age, it goes back to decades ago.
Okay, nice.
But well, probably the best would be to start from the time when I started this career. It was in 1999 when I took a course to become a tour guide, and I started my work, my career as a guide only for incoming tours and the people who came to Iran to visit historical sites and World Heritage sites. Of course, at that time, there were only three sites, historical sites, in the list of UNESCO's World Heritage sites. But over the course of time, because of the Iranian authorities pressing for more sites to be documented and listed together with intangible cultural heritage, today we have 24 sites and we have a lot of intangible and we have something around 55 or 60, if I'm not wrong, more on the tentative list. But I started this career at that time, and after a couple of years, I realized that all a tour guide wants is to be known, to be recognized as a good guide, and people ask for you for particular tours. And it had already happened for me because before this career, actually, I was doing some other things like translation and interpretation. So I was used to talk in public and talk to the people and translate and all these things. So I was not shy. I could
I
just
can tell,
handle
man.
the
I can
job.
tell.
Yeah. And in 2002, actually, I thought of something different. I thought, well, this is not enough. I should take my career to the next level. And
Mhm.
I looked around and I was watching some satellite TV when I found some very interesting tourism TV program on DWTV from Germany. And there
Uh-huh.
was a program that was very interesting, and I was watching it. It was called Destination Germany. And then something crossed my mind, why not Destination Iran? So I went to the internet and I realized this domain name is not taken. Then I thought, why not me taking it? So destinationiran.com was born. And I put something like a summary of some of my studies, like 40 articles there, and it was there for some years. And after some years, I realized, okay, so what? I'm there, nobody can find me. I should do
Oh,
something so that people can find me.
spread
It's
the
not
word.
enough just to have a website and wait for the people to come. It doesn't happen that way.
It doesn't
So,
happen. Never.
well,
Yeah.
I don't want to get into details of web development and what happened. People, I didn't know anything about these things. It was not my main, line of education. I had studied English translation, but not these things.
That was in
So I
20, in
learned,
2002. I'm sorry to interrupt. That was in 2002, right? When you did the
yeah,
website and everything. Yes, huh?
yeah, that was already too much
So,
for
so
me.
you
That
know,
was
you know,
something new, and I didn't know anything
very
about
new.
it.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, it was
Nobody,
very
not even
new.
nobody knew about website. Very little people knew how to design the website. You know, it's very easy right now to do
Yeah.
it, but
So
all
today we
the
have content management systems. We have WordPress, Joomla, I don't know, all these things. But back in those times, you had to find some. The first version of my website was Flash. Later, I realized that search engines cannot find anything in the Flash. Then I
Mhm.
talked to somebody else, and he said, "I make it for you with I don't know, ASP, something else. Okay, just change it for me." They changed it. Again, nothing happened. Then there is something that doesn't exist anymore. called Front Page by Microsoft.
Front
Front
page.
Page was an application. Yeah, it was a software that I sat down, learned, and created the first version that could be submitted to Google and asked Google to index it. So I took a course on search engine optimization online together with a Ukrainian website that I still believe is one of the best ones. And it was webceo.com. And I bought the application and software and all those things. And, I started a little bit and then I realized, oh, they are finding me. People search for my main terms I didn't know at the beginning. Later, I realized they call it keywords. People found my keywords on Google and they came to my website.
Huh.
And it was very interesting. And then, things in Iran changed, different presidential elections, different rhetoric in the international scenes. Life in Iran is very much connected to politics. Look at the countries around us: Iraq, Afghanistan. I don't know, Azerbaijan and Armenia were fighting a few months ago. Back there at the south, we have other people in Yemen starving to death, and all these things are happening, and tourism was blossoming in Iran at the same time. And I was thinking about my career going down because of terrible things happening back then. Something very interesting, again, maybe because of the long experience that I've had in this career, I can tell you back in those days, social media was not so popular. It was not so overwhelming everywhere. I'm talking about 2004, 5. And when some of the traditional famous media like CNN and BBC talked about turmoil in the Middle East, guess what happened? All our incoming tours canceled. And this was as easy as that. And we have two high seasons. We have springtime and fall. When the fall tours cancel, then you have to wait until next spring.
Mm.
So this means from spring to spring, 1 year without a career, without a job. And tour guides are all freelancers in Iran. We are not paid when we don't have jobs to do. So it was
Mm.
very tough for me, and it happens 2 years that way. And I thought I should start a different career. Now I've learned some search engine optimization. I should start somewhere else in the world. I migrated to Malaysia. For 1 year, I lived in Malaysia.
Malaysia.
Yes,
Mhm.
I took some courses there in blogging, in search engine optimization with San Francisco Association of Online Marketers and a lot of things like that. So I took a lot of courses,
Mhm.
started a company there, but after some time I realized that it doesn't get me anywhere. I shouldn't sway too much. I should focus. So I
Mhm.
refocused, got back to Iran in 2007, and I had 4 websites. I stopped all of them and put all my efforts on destination Iran, used search engine optimization there, and very quickly I got customers. And it started again, and it was quite good. This time I thought, well, why not selling tours? I sold tours. I put together a team of operation for operating my tours, and things went on and went higher and higher, better and better,
Uh-huh.
until coronavirus started. So you
Mhm.
see,
That's
yeah.
that's interesting.
Well,
Yeah.
to cut it short, 2020, everything was stopped completely.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
well, you have to make a living. You have to bring bread and butter to your table, so you cannot stop. So it was
Mm.
in early 2020 in March when I thought, well, probably the best thing to do is to shift a little bit, sway
Mhm.
again, but keep on the same, line. Focus and flexibility. These two are paradoxical. It looks like they are contradictory, but if you follow one line, sway a
Mhm.
little bit, and be a bit flexible, but keep the focus, things would work. So I thought, well, my website is only in English. Why not shifting that to, adding a Persian section and then focus on responsible tourism? And I wrote a charter of responsible tourism for the first time in Iran and wrote like 2 dozens of, let's say, articles about it. And why I did this at a time when there was no tourism going on, I realized that people like, to think about travel. Travel doesn't die. People want to travel. It's within us. and we
Never.
need to explore different places in the world. We have to read, we have to look at the pictures, follow the videos, and I don't know, different channels. And this was how actually I decided to keep talking about travel, tourist destinations, and attractions in Persian plus tourism. Actually, the responsible tourism. But
Hmm.
here, the revenue changed from tours to selling guest posts and advertorials, banners. So I converted my website into a platform for tourism marketing. And in less than a year, I started getting revenues. Iranian digital marketing companies who are just getting orders for all from all guilds sent me advertorials. And these advertorials were first only people in tourism business, like online booking services, like let's say airlines and these aspects of tourism that were still working in limited,
Huge.
uh,
Yes. Hmm.
scenes, but actually it was not enough. Then there was too much pressure from different digital marketing companies that why don't you accept advertorials from all guilds? Then we can
Hmm.
give you more jobs. Then I thought, well, I can add a section called other businesses. So
That's
other
smart.
businesses, yeah. So I added other businesses. So at the time when you don't have enough tourism, let's say banners and advertorials, so you can have some of those. So this way, I managed to get back on my feet. It doesn't mean that I've gone away from tourism. The main thing when you look at the website, both in Persian and English homepages, you would see it's all about tourism. By the way, there's an other businesses section down there that people can find the latest advertorials and guest posts there. So this way, I could survive, and I'm waiting for the day when people are fully vaccinated and begin to come to Iran. I
Hmm.
wouldn't be a tour guide anymore because this way I'm too much drowned in online digital marketing, but I can arrange tours. I
Hmm.
can just put my colleagues and friends on those tours. The operation team is still waiting on a standby, so things would work. I mean, I can get back on that while I have this business. So then I have to, as we say in Persian, there's a funny, proverb. We say you cannot hold two watermelons with one hand, but I'm going to do that soon, as soon as tourism restarts.
That's very
Yeah,
smart, man. And then so
yeah,
you were like ahead of the game from the start, because when you said social media, like in 2005, 2006, it was barely started. And it's
yeah,
interesting to see that even though you had several setbacks, you managed to adjust. So that's
yeah. I
very
had to. Yeah.
interesting. And like you said, hopefully soon we'll have, or hopefully in Iran, I don't know how it is. Here in the US, we're grateful to have vaccines.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I understand that not all of the parts of the world are that. So you said if the vaccines are not ready for any age, or for what do you think is the
It is.
limitation?
Yeah, it is available according to age, and the people have started from the oldest people, and they have come down. Today, I had my second dose of Sinopharm vaccine. The one is developed in China, and a lot of that has been imported in Iran. We have AstraZeneca here. Pfizer and Moderna had in common. It's nobody had been uh, getting those jabs of these two American vaccines. But other things, yes, we have, Sputnik in a very limited version, but mainly Sinopharm and AstraZeneca, and an Iranian developed one called Barakat, which is in very small portion. But we are not going forward with big leaps. It's a bit slow, but it happens. It's out of 85 million people, only 17 million people have got the first dose. Around, I don't know, 7 million people, I suppose, have got the second dose. It takes time. It takes time, but it is happening.
Yeah, that's interesting. Hopefully it will over time. And I want to ask you, what is we're already in August. We're going into September, so it's a little bit, a few months until the year ends. So I wanted to like give your perspectives on what do you think is going to happen from here on to the end of this year. What are your thoughts?
Inside Iran, in the field of tourism, I don't
Yes.
think any major changes we would witness. We wouldn't witness anything dramatic because the vaccination is everything is now depending on vaccination. But I think if we go forward with this pace, I'm optimistic about 2020, not 2021, unfortunately. And 2020, let's say 2022 would be the year that maybe when people get the second dose and something called, fully vaccinated. Today, people are talking about the third dose, but let's call it fully vaccinated. If we get to that level, if like 60-70% of the people get the second dose, I think by that time, because the economy is sort of halted, and this is not only our country. Everywhere in the world wants to vaccine people and get them back to work. So I think in 2022, at least we would be able to cross the borders between the provinces in Iran. Today, we are not allowed. There are, CCTV cameras, police is on the roads. You're not allowed to leave your provinces. And, the province where, yeah, it's very difficult. It's very hard. I used to travel at least 10 times a year on tours. And this is not the peak of my career. Peak of my career was more than 20 journeys a year. But let's say in 2020, in 2018, 19, I was like traveling 10 times a year and 5 times personal journeys. But it's now almost 1.5 years I haven't moved out of Tehran. So I feel like a prisoner somehow.
Yeah, I want to ask you real quick. I want to ask, so for example, if you're from Iran, you cannot go out, huh? Right? So,
Well,
but if you're a tourist, can we go visit Iran? Is it available for tourists to be there?
right now, the Ministry of Tourism in Iran does not grant tourist visa. And the fact is, the only kind of tourism visa you may get is for medical tourism. And usually, people in the neighboring countries who are coming here for heart surgeries, plastic surgery, beauty surgery, because Iran is quite big in the region for this. Only those people come here by some visa on which the word tourism is reflected. But tourist visas, they don't grant it right now. And I think
Is,
when
Mhm.
yeah
Is it gonna be soon or after everybody's vaccinated? I think, right?
yeah I bet 60-70% of the people, and it wouldn't occur in 2021. In 2021, I doubt. But 2022, I think we will start by domestic tourism. They allow us to travel inside. Even today, you can fly from some cities to other cities, only to certain hotels that are following the protocols. It is possible to travel a little bit in Iran, but for me, travel means driving across the deserts, mountains, see the scenery, enjoy it, and go to any village you like on the way and talk to people. That would be, the enjoyable tourism. That is not possible. Only inside provinces you can do it.
And that's the thing with tourism. It's like they say, it's not the destination, it's the actual journey, like every step of the process of getting there.
Exactly.
That's when you enjoy it. So I imagine if you go driving, the scenery that you can see in Iran, that is
Yeah,
part of the tourism aspect, So that's very
exactly.
interesting, man. Hopefully,
Exactly.
it will be soon enough. And I wanted to ask this last question.
Sure.
What do you think is going to happen with tourism in the next 5 years? Because I want to give you a little bit of context. With COVID, everything has changed. Communication has changed. Like right now, what are we doing right now? Like this wasn't common. A lot of people would actually meet in person for any meetings, any business. But now we have the capabilities to do this. We can do business right now. We can do this virtually. And
Yeah.
I don't know if you've also seen different technologies that are arising, like augmented reality, virtual reality, 360 tours, that
Yeah.
type of experiences. I don't know if you've seen Well, there's a project that did, or they were doing. Amazon was doing a project called, what was it called? Explore or something like that. But the thing is that, for example, I could pay somebody, a tour guide like yourself,
Mhm.
and will be, for example, if he has his phone, he could be in the middle of the street
Mhm.
recording and guiding you, that way across the world. So that's something
I
that,
hope not.
see, but
Maybe
unfortunately,
maybe it's my generation, but I hope not. You need to see, you need to feel, smell, talk to people, taste the
yes.
food.
Uh,
That is provisional tourism. I would call it provisional tourism. But
uh-huh.
it's interesting that all these new technologies are developed.
Yeah, so for example, and this is just starting, eh? This is barely starting.
Yeah.
As the thing is that I think that's what the thing is stopping us from actually making it commercial is the phone. The phone is going to change
Yeah.
into your kind of like glasses that you have. Everything on the phone. That is gonna
Hmm.
be the next
Yeah.
revolution.
Yeah.
But until we get there, what do you think are your thoughts from here to like 5 years from now in tourism in Iran?
Well, tourism in Iran and what will happen. Like I said, among my first words, everything is very much related to politics in Iran. I don't want to get into politics, but the security is very important for the tourists. And luckily, fortunately, in the past 2 decades that I've been in this business, Iran has always been quite a secure place for the people who have traveled to Iran. You may not easily believe that most of my clients were from the US. I had
Mm.
a lot of people coming from New York, and I had a lot of people coming from Washington, D.C., from different universities in the U.S. Even I have a very close dear friend from Egypt who used to get incoming tours from American universities. He shifted 3, 4 years ago to bring those people to Iran. So again, Americans through Egyptian tour operator came to Iran, and I used to work a lot for the Americans, and it was some very interesting and let's say enjoyable years of my life. And
Mm.
I think sooner or later, what will happen? Iranians are, very pro travel. We are the people who love to picnic. We have a national day of picnic at the end of New Year's holidays. At the last day, people go out in the nature and they have picnic. They have a name for it, and we have been doing this at least for hundreds of years, if not thousands of years. So we are very outdoor people, and we love to travel. And I would say that in terms of international travel, Iran needs to vaccinate its own people and join the international travel pass verification system. Otherwise, how can we make sure that somebody coming to our airport with a pass in his hand can be verified truly as somebody who is fully vaccinated? It's not easy. We need to join a system to make sure that we can 100% make sure that these people are fully vaccinated. And then our tourism staff should be fully vaccinated. Let's imagine all these things have happened. In terms of tourism marketing, like you said, a lot of video conversation would go on. A lot of marketing would be done on YouTube and on video, I would say, because YouTube is not the only platform, although it's the largest one, but you may find this on LinkedIn. Recently on LinkedIn, they allow you to introduce yourself and your business for 30 seconds on your profile. This is something quite amazing. And this means that every social media has realized the importance of video. So video conferencing, video marketing, video talks, video, I don't know, um, everything would be, very much around videos. And communication would go on, and people would love to get out. And according to some statistics that I saw on CNN like 2 weeks ago, the age range that has, let's say, saved more money during coronavirus pandemic in the world are the people in their 60s. And these
Mm.
people are likely to start traveling the world. And I think destinations that can pave the way for safe travel, they can harvest such a field. And that would be amazing. And I hope we get to that point. But for Iran, it's very difficult to say. I would say that because we have a new government and we had some presidential election a couple of months ago, so there's a new minister who took office less than a week ago. We should see what the new programs are. But Iran always loves to have tourists. And let me tell you one point which is very important.
Yes.
Iran has got at least 1 million historical spots. 1 million is way too much. You need an army, I don't know, of 3 million people. If every guard wants to guard one of those spots for 8 hours, three for one, for three shifts in 24 hours, meaning 3 million people an army. So it is not possible. But I can tell you that Iran has got a lot of offer, but that is not what Iran is famous for. Iran is famous for the hospitality of the people. People love to see foreigners, love to host them, serve them, talk to them, ask them about what do you think about our country? What do you think about our food? And they invite them home, and they just. I have been with people in different corners of Iran with foreign travelers. People invite us to the tea houses, and they offer us tea and cookies, and they don't let us pay. And this happens very easily. This is part of our culture. So I just
Interesting.
hope it happens again.
Hopefully, man, that's very interesting, and I think that that's something very interesting about tourism, that it brings people together from different parts of the
Exactly.
world. It's an
Exactly.
opportunity, it's an excuse to like bring people together, to invite them, get to know about them, their stories, and hopefully I have the privilege of being in Iran someday. I would love to
I
try
hope
to do
so. I
that.
hope so. I would love to close down all the advertorials and tourism marketing on the website and travel with you myself.
Definitely, man, we
And
will have to do
and
that. But first, we have to attend the priorities, like the vaccines and everything.
exactly.
Yeah, man. So, Rahman, man, I appreciate you. I appreciate your
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
I
the
want
same
to, before we leave, I don't know if you want
here.
to leave a message to those watching, either motivational, either about tourism, anything about that you want to give them, like an advice, anything that you want to share before we
Sure.
part
Thank you
ways.
very much for giving me this opportunity. I believe that things like this could happen to different people in different eras. Things like that happen. And this is a passing part of our lifetime and it goes away. It's like any other viruses. And we begin to travel again. But one thing which is important is sustainability for tourism, and it comes with responsible tourism. We should take care of our nature, of our planet. Mass tourism is not the solution. Mass tourism destroys everything. If we love people of the world, if we love the planet, if we love to survive and enjoy and provide good tourism line for the generations to come after us, if you really want to enjoy and learn and communicate and connect to the people, every part of the world, video is good, but tangible things are more important. We should just, I believe in small group tours, groups
Mhm.
of less than 10 people, and a slow and slow pace of tourism. Just go to different places, sit down and talk to people. We will do this again all together. We don't need to. I mean, I'm just talking to the big tour companies and cruise lines and all these things. I know that you love to make a lot of money, but we all love one thing more than everything else, and that's our planet. And we should travel responsibly. So responsible tourism is the most important thing. And here at destinationiran.com, I'll be here to arrange visa and accommodation and tours and everything. And I hope I could see a lot of people who now watch this video and arrange for them an experience of their lifetime. That's it. I mean, that's all I can say.
Definitely, thank you, and definitely look at what Rahman is doing with destinationmyran.com. Get to see the articles, get to see a little bit more of Iran, and prepare for when it's available to travel, which I'm sure it's going to be a pleasure to do.
Thank you.
So thank you, Rahman, for your time. I really appreciate you, and
Thank you
hopefully
very
it won't be the last time. It won't be the last time.
much. Thank you very much. Hope to see you again.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Bye bye.